In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make wreaths for decorating cards. Here is one such card that I created. I knew I might have showed you this card before, and I didn't know. I felt like something needed to be there, and I didn't know what was going to be there. So the card was just sitting in my collection of unfinished cards, and finally I was playing with these, and I said, aha! That's the perfect touch. And I still don't know what the occasion's card will be. Sometimes I just make a card and then I decide later when something comes up and the card just seems to be perfect for a certain person or a certain event, and then I'll put a message inside of it. To make these wreaths, we're going to be using this set, which is called Swirly Scribbles Thinlit Dies, and I like this one the best. You can also use this one. I haven't used that one yet because it seems awfully small, but this is a really good size for that purpose. And I went through my die cuts to find all of my small flowers from this set, which is the Bloomin' Heart Thinlits. I use these two flowers. I like this really small flower. These two are the same style. And then from this set, I use this, the smallest flowers, which is actually kind of large, but it will work. That's called the Botanical Builder Framelits. And I'm also using a ribbon from this set, which is the Doily Builder Thinlit Dies. And so I use that ribbon. So sometimes, you know, after a while you collect several sets and then you just start playing with the different parts and you start realizing, hey, I can create something new. So I will take my, it looks like, you know, a wreath because it's circular, and I do like to cut them in brown because it looks like wood. You can do a wreath where you can still see some of the brown peeking through. You don't have to fill it up completely. You could just do like arrangement on two sides or three sides or however you want to do it. But I tried one like that, and then I will cover it with leaves. Here's one. Here's the back. You can see the brown wreath, and there's still some of the brown shows through in places. And then I used my various leaves. Now I showed you before how I like to take my small scraps that I will just spend some time cutting out various shades of green, and these are all my small leaves. I have another collection of larger leaves, but for this project I chose all my small leaves. I have these two baskets. These are papers that are cut where there's still plenty of paper here that could be used for various projects. When they start to get really thin and the pieces are really small, they move into this basket where there's not much left. See, look, like pieces like this, where I could probably get some flowers, some tiny flowers out of those. I will use it up as much as possible. You can see I cut out a ribbon there, and I cut out a ribbon here. But in like this little strip, you can see that I cut out 3 ribbons there, and I've got more to cut out, probably 3 more ribbons or some flowers in that color. But see, I will use these scraps up until I pretty much used up the paper. This is what my paper looks like when I've pretty much exhausted it. See, I had printed something there and it didn't turn out right, so and so when I don't have any space left and the pieces are just too small, then these pieces will go into the trash. So sometimes when I've got a few moments to just sit and cut, I'll cut out a whole bunch. I have this little box. I think it was it might be part of a Lunchables or something, and I thought it was a great little organizing container. So this is where I'm putting all my wreaths, and then my collection of flowers, of those 3 size flowers that I showed you in various colors, and these are my ribbons. So I've kind of got this little box just for the purpose of making wreaths. I like to have things organized. So here are the two sizes that I cut out. This is from the larger, made from the larger size, and this is a little smaller. I used Christmas colors for that. And here's a collection of the various small leaf patterns that I have. These are long, thin ones. This is just a single leaf. This has got 3 cute little leaves on it. I really like that one. And then here's the small fern. And this, I think, came with one of the tea sets. I don't know, Time for Tea or something like that. But you could actually have a flower to go in the middle, and it's got the leaves already on it. But I decided to cut it out in green because you could easily put those on the bases. I think I did start off by putting them around the first layer, and then I added like some of these smaller leaves and some of these individual leaves to cover it. So I like to use a variety of greens when I do a wreath. Now you could choose to use all the same color, but I feel like you can see more of the detail if you have various shades. Think about putting the darker colors underneath and the lighter colors on top and mixing it up a little bit just to make it interesting. So this one is ready for flowers. This wreath is ready to have flowers, and since I used only the small leaves, well, I guess I did use some medium-sized leaves just to fill it in. I wanted some leaves kind of hanging over the front and the side and some sticking out the outside edge, but I'm happy with the leaves. Now I chose to use only the tiniest flower. You can see how small it is. I could hide it under my finger. And I chose my pastel colors. Now I may not use this many on here. I might, just use a few less. We'll see how it works out. And then I think I want to put a pink ribbon. I might change my mind. You never know. As I put them on, I kind of look at the color that's nearby and decide whether or not I want to have a gap, or if I want to zigzag it this side or that side. If I want to overlap the colors, I like to use a gel type glue. I thought pastels would be good for this one, so I chose the softer colors. Like I said, not sure if I'm going to use all these colors. See, I got a pink one right there. Let me switch that to this peach color. And I am sort of zigzagging them around. This is too close to that color, so I think I'll go with, I'll go with the pink. That's too close to that. How about, we'll put the yellow one. They can overlap a little bit, which will be fine. I think white would be good to have a white one. The white's here. Okay, those two are kind of light, so be a good place to put a darker color. Put a little bit more on the inside, and the next one I think we'll put it more on the outside, just to vary it a little bit. I might even have to pull out a couple more flowers, because I think I really do want to kind of fill this one up. Oh, I could leave space for the ribbon. Except I put a pink flower there, and I don't know if I want to have pink. Maybe I want a purple. Maybe I'll put a purple flower instead. So that way it'll be a different color. Do I have one cut out? I do, but it's at the very bottom, wouldn't you know? Yeah, I think that looks like a very springtimey wreath. I can imagine that a wreath on a card would be a wonderful card for a get well card, if you have, or a sympathy card, because wreaths are very common gifts. So, or it could be a birthday card or a Mother's Day card. Really, you can decide what occasion. So there you have it. The leaves just kind of peek out around, and it's kind of nice to have different colors. Okay, for this wreath, I thought I would go with blue flowers. And so I have 3 different sizes. This is the large, this is the medium. These are both the same size. So I used a darker blue, lighter blue, and a white. And I kind of have like 4 groupings. This is the largest, medium, small. Large, medium, small. Large, medium, medium. So I kind of vary it a little bit. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, but I might arrange them a little bit different. But I just put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the large fern, but I don't think that's enough leaves, so I'm going to use some of my other types of leaves. Okay, for this one, I'm using these individual leaves. I like to look at what color I'm going to put it on, and I want to pick a color that's different so that we have a little bit of contrast. And I don't always angle the leaves in the same direction. I'm leaving a gap between. I could put another light one, maybe this color. I like to have some leaves pointed to the inside and some to the outside. Let's see, a really dark one. Nature looks very random, so I make sure that I'm not making them all put on in a mechanical way. I don't want them to be, you know, all point in the same direction, so I like to vary it. This one's angled that way, so I'm going to angle this one the opposite way for a little bit more random. I'm just putting glue on one end. Okay, I don't want the same color. Choose a dark one will be good there. Angle that one a little bit more. And maybe a medium color. I want to have some on the inside pointing inward. We'll put that a little closer to that one. And we got a lot of dark here, so how about I choose a little bit lighter color for right here, and a medium. To this project, I think I'm going to have to cut out some more leaves. Oh, bright green one. I do want to see some of these ferns showing, so I don't want to cover them up completely. I think I could put one more light colored one. Then I think I'll be happy. See how these two kind of lean together? Now I am working on a piece of glass. What I did is I had a picture frame. I don't know if there's a crack. See that? I had bought this piece of glass for a piece of art, and I actually spent a lot of money on this piece of glass because it was the type of glass that protect the artwork from UV rays so it doesn't fade the artwork. But it got a crack in it, and I don't want to throw away a good piece of glass even though it's got a crack. I might one day cut it to a smaller size, but for now it's taped to a piece of foam core, so it's got like a cushion underneath, and I use it for printmaking for art. But if you get glue on it, when it dries, you can take a a flat edge razor blade and you can scrape all the glue off. So this is a great surface to work on when you're doing a lot of gluing. So you can have a smooth, clean surface. A glass surface is really great. So every once in a while I have to pick up my wreath and make sure that it's not sticking to the glass. Okay, let's start putting on our flowers. Now, as you notice, I did do a little bit of work on the flower itself. I put a few lines with markers. It has a big brush tip on one side, and then it has a fine point on the other side. So I would use the fine point to make some little lines. I use sort of a golden color, yellow in the middle. Sometimes I will do green in the middle. This one I chose to do yellow and sort of dot, 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 some dark green, dot, dot, dot with some orange. So I did put a little bit of texture on each of the flowers. With this one I did not. I just put them on just like they are, because they're small and they're cute because they have a little punch out right there, which actually is kind of nice. All right, let's start with the big flower. And we'll put it right there. And you could decide how you want the flowers to overlap or not. Okay, so I have them kind of overlapping. Just pick up to make sure I'm not sticking. Now I think I'll come over here to this side. Yeah, I'm going to work a little symmetrical this time. Don't always, but you never know. I want the flowers to kind of overlap each other a little bit. Actually, I think I want this little white one to stick out right there. So you can put them a little... Okay, now I'm going to start over here with the... I think I'll put the big one on top. So we'll do there and the little one here, and we'll have the white one overlap. And I'm sorry, I'm casting a shadow. So I'm sort of leaving a little gap between my groupings. You don't have to. I just felt like doing it that way. Okay, we'll put this one right there, and then no gap here. And not much of a gap there. Okay, make sure it's not sticking. Now we put on our bow, which goes right there. And there we have one that's blue. Let me see, let me find a card. I don't know if this color will work. It might. Like, I have this card. I haven't quite decided what to do with it. I could add a wreath. That would look kind of cool right there if I decided. But I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. It could, and that might be what it needs to finish it. But I haven't decided. This is too many colors. Too many colors. But you can see how you can use these. So I'll have the wreaths out, and when I have need of something to ornament, like here's something I actually started something and made a mistake, and it's very, very plain, so it could actually use some color. Ooh, that kind of looks pretty nice. This isn't even a card, this is just a piece. Because I accidentally started to put glue, and I put the glue on the wrong side because I really wanted the white. So I just stuck it on this piece of paper that was similar colored, and I said, well, it gives it a cool texture at least. But it's still too plain. So that actually could look nice on there, and then I could turn that into a card for another occasion. So here's my collection of wreaths so far, and I'll keep playing with them. I didn't show you the actual die cuts. I showed you what sets it came out of, but here they are. These 4 pieces is what I used. Now if I find I get another ribbon that's a little bigger, I might use a different type of ribbon, but that's the only one that I like for this project. You can really do them in any color you want, and I still have lots of flowers that are cut out in my little kit. So whenever I feel like making a wreath, I just want to play and spend a little time decorating, and I will keep my wreaths in my collection of ready-made art. This basket is filled with things that are either colored, for example, that colored, ready to go on a card. It might be little flowers, teacups, but this is my little ready-made basket of art that's already completed or partially done, so that when I want to make a card, I just look in my little basket and see what I already have made. And I do keep a small basket of cards that are incomplete. I might have the front of them done, but I don't have a design, I don't have a message inside because I haven't figured out what's the occasion. And so they will go in this little basket until I figure out what occasion they're going to be. So that's just some of my other cards. So that hopefully that'll give you some. Let's see, that would be a good one. Hold on. That one just sparked something in me right there. Ooh, look at that. That looks pretty, don't you think? Oops, put the ribbon on top. See, with all that beautiful blue and the lace, and look at that. That finishes off very nicely. Don't you think that would cheer up a person who's kind of under the weather, or maybe somebody who's lost someone, a loved one, and they need something to cheer them up? I think I like that. I think I'm going to glue that right on there. See, sometimes you don't even know what you have until you work on it. I found some white doilies. I think it needs a little contrast, but that could be kind of cool. You could figure out, the best arrangement. Might need some more. Might need something else, because that might be too much blue. Oh, here's another thing you can do. Let's say you've got the wreath already made and you want to put a message. You can use like a little message and put it in the center of your wreath. This one says happy birthday, and that way you have a message in the middle of your wreath, and then you got a wonderful decoration. So there's so many options, but that looks kind of cool too. This is on embossed paper, and it was another card that, like I say, I didn't know what to do with, so it's just sitting here waiting for inspiration. I think I found a couple of ideas. I'm gonna have to make me another one in blues, because that looks really pretty on there, and I definitely think we could do something on that as well. So do subscribe. I'll be posting more videos to help with card making ideas. I love to play with creative things. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to paint some little critters, and I'll show you how to use the watercolor pencils to get a realistic painting of a little animal for illustration for a card. So join me next time. Don't forget to subscribe.